Alright lads, so here we are in Sochi for another F1 2014 gameplay. Today I'm doing something completely different. I'm doing a live commentary for this race, and what makes this race interesting is I've never driven around this track at all on this game. So this is going to be a first time for all of us pretty much, seeing how much I can fail in this race here. I've only driven this, I'll be brutally honest, I've driven this track on R Factor, but that is a very early and sort of preview look at the Sochi track. I don't think it's 100% to scale of what the track is now. And to be honest though, I've barely driven enough laps on R Factor, so I don't know what the track layout is really. So this is pretty much my first time. It's going to be very interesting. I'm probably going to be crashing everywhere, so I apologize if my driving is absolutely terrible in this video. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to see more F1 2014 videos in the future. I'll definitely be doing some more of those. But yeah, here we are in Sochi. I don't believe I know where we're starting. I just went to race only, so wherever the game puts us is where we'll be starting in this race. I believe we'll be somewhere in the mid-pack, something like that. We're doing a 25% race. I'll do a 100% race of this track sometime later, maybe next week or in a couple of days or something like that. But for now, this is sort of a tester to see how I go around the Sochi track. The strategy is a one-stop, stopping on lap 6. We'll start on the options, just have a fairly straightforward race with the AI, and we'll see how we go. Lewis Hamilton on pole, shock. Alright, we're starting in 7th, so that's not too bad. Sergio Perez outside the top 10 in 11th. So here we are for the start. As always, I'm pretty terrible at starts, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how we go off the line here. I'll leave it in standard, then put it up into fast to see if that helps us on the starts. Doesn't look like it's helped that much. The Williams have pretty much mugged us off here. And where is turn 1? This is just a slight kink. I believe turn 1 is a 90-degree corner, so we'll need to brake quite early. I'm going to take it safe here. Yeah, look at that. Everyone mugging me off into turn 1. Look at the surroundings there. All the flags off in the background. I'm getting touched in the side pod by Toro Rosso. Squeezing out my teammate there. I didn't mean to, Sergio. Sorry about that. We've got Raikkonen right in front of us. Trying to talk and drive is not a good mix, especially when you don't know where you're going. Track extension there, and we've got Vern now passing us up the inside. Probably would have, was probably a bad idea to go with the Force India first up for this race. I might have been better off in a Red Bull or Ferrari or something just to cover myself, but I'll need to get up to speed quickly because Force India isn't the best, and I would like to get somewhere near the top 5. I'd like to do some overtaking in this race eventually. I don't want to be defending the whole race, parking the bus essentially. But so far so good, haven't crashed as of yet. So it's interesting to note that so far. Oh no, gone in too deep there. Into the AstroTurf. No gravel traps around this circuit, so there's not that much punishment for error. I mean, there's a lot of margin for error, rather. First lap done. We're in 10th at the moment. Not too bad so far. In saying that, I'd like to move forward just that little bit. Try and score some more points. We're going to use 8th gear only just. I probably didn't need to. I probably could have left it in 7th. Nice cheeky track extension there. This track is going to be pretty bad for corner cuts, track extensions, all that kind of thing for league racing. But just trying to find my braking points is a little bit difficult at the moment. I can't really see any really landmark things off to the side of the track that I can use as a braking marker so far, but that it's going to take some time to figure out. That's a terrible corner. Alright, so now lap 5, we finally caught up to the back of Raikkonen. We'll see if we can pass him on the start. Finish straight as we get caught on an auto spin curve there. I've just been focusing so much on trying to catch Raikkonen. It's been a bit of a sweat session here, but I think I might finally get an overtake done on him. Slipstream, very powerful on this straight here. And into P9. We'll be coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Next up is Massa. We overshoot turn 1. No warning there, even though that was probably technically a corner cut. Skipping out the second part of that first corner. Well, first proper corner. I think it's actually turn 2. Alright, so now we're coming into the pits, and I didn't really know where the pit entry was, so it was a good thing we had Massa right in front of us coming in. So we get a first experience of what this pit lane looks like. Fairly nice so far. I think you could probably cut into that second part without having to slow down for the first part. We'll select primes just in case the pit crew stuff that up. Pit stop is 3.7 seconds. Seems to be the standard this year for the stops, which, as I've said many times, is fairly slow compared to real life. As had a slow exit there. Didn't realise the release point was so early in the pit lane. But rejoining in 14th place, it looks like we don't really have the pace for the top 5. But that's to be expected, I suppose. We're in a Force India, and this is my first time driving this track. It's very hard to get a feel for it. It's very different, that's for sure. Lots of very tight corners. They seem to have caught me out quite a bit so far. They trick you into thinking you can take them faster than what you look like that you can take them. It's very deceiving. Yeah, so burning a little bit too much fuel in this race so far. One thing I'm kind of annoyed with in this game is, one, the background sounds of the engine. It's very hard to get a feel, or really gauge what you're doing throttle-wise with your engine, because there's so much background noise. Like the noises of the other cars, and then just the background noises of their engines reverberating off the walls and stuff. It's, yeah, just very hard to pick up what your own car is doing. That's a bit annoying. The other thing is the Rev Counter at the bottom of the screen. It's always flashing like I need to shift up, but it does that so early on in the rev range that it's a little bit off-putting, and you need to rely a little bit more on hearing the engine, what it's doing, but you really can't because there's so much background noise, and it's kind of off-putting. Alright, so lap 9, I'd say most of the runners have already stopped, if not everyone, and it looks like we've been jumped. I believe we were 10th before the pit stops took place, so it looks like we were either 10th or 9th, so it looks like we've lost some ground here, and that's a bit disappointing. So it looks like today we probably won't be getting a points finish unless I can seriously pull my finger out here. Mounting the curve there on that yellow bump there. Almost like driving a V8 supercar. It's ridiculous. I like a bit of two-wheeled action, but not in a Formula 1 car. I don't think it's quite that much fun. Alright, so here we are on the final lap now. We've got Sergio right behind us. He's in the DRS. And Nico Rosberg has won the race. We've got to keep our teammate behind us, though. It's going to be very tricky now as we head into this final sector. I hate this sector. This corner here is really annoying. And so too the one coming up that has the hill in front of it on the apex. It's just a nasty set of corners. Very demanding on the car. It's just really hard to get a flow going around this track, and it's going to take some time to get used to it. But Sergio, he's come through the field to finish in 12th. We started 7th, then we moved backwards to finish 11th in our first race here in Austria. There we go. Our first race at this track was absolutely terrible, but leave a like if you enjoyed that. If you have any questions about this game, then let me know in the comments. If you have any suggestions as to what track I should do in the future, then let me know as well. So, 36 seconds behind the leader in the end. Nico Rosberg won the race. Lewis Hamilton dropped down to 2nd. Sebastian Vettel staying with the Mercedes there in 3rd place. But it's been quite interesting to see how much I've struggled at this track compared to the Austria video I did the other day where I was just straight on the pace at that track. It's quite interesting to note that, but to be fair, I've not really seen any footage from this track at all, so I didn't really know the layout. But yeah, very interesting to see how it all played out. But that's been this video for today. If you have any suggestions as to what videos I should make in the future, then let me know. I've only got this preview build of F1 2014 at the moment, so I can only do Grand Prix mode, time trial, time attack, and scenario mode at the moment. Make sure, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to see more F1 2014 videos that'll be coming out over the course of the next few months. Yeah, that's been this video for today. Until my next one, I'll see you guys next time.